Welcome back, PlayBASIC coders. Something a little bit different. A lot of web stuff's been happening. Some of it for PB, some of it not. There's a few issues with the larger site, and I've put that on the back burner for a second. I wanted to test some of that stuff in a smaller environment. I thought, well, I'll dress up the old blog and fix it up a little bit. Now, the back end of this is actually, I can't even think of when it's written now. It's somewhere at about 2012 in there, a long time ago. It's pretty much the same back end, and the front end's been reskinned. Pretty much, we've got defaults to articles. There'll be key articles under features, maybe. Got some tools under there, some links, a basic contact page, all the basic stuff. One thing that is different is that this one here, well, I'll walk through the examples first, or the articles first. So we've got a page thing here. You can go to, we've got more than one article on the same page. You can look at those things there. You can grab a link to it, of course, at the bottom of the page, scan across. A few things that you'll notice are different. I'm using Markdown to do articles. Now, this is something I added to PlayBASIC.com. Was having some troubles with it, doing some weird things. I wasn't sure about how to solve them at the time. Markdown's it's just a way of formatting text without actually having to resort to HTML or our kind of shortcut HTML square brackety type stuff like you do on the forums, for example. It's used in a lot of places these days, and I written a partial render because that was kind of helping me out, and I thought, well, I want to convert the articles all into that format, but I can't do that now. That means going through all the old articles and upgrading them, which does not sound like fun to me. But even when I wrote the Markdown phraser, which is like, it runs through that section of the document, applies the rules for the styling and the layout. One of the issues I was having trouble with is these code inserts here. They would break the design and the styling would break, and there are some little errors still in this. I found a few bugs in it as well. The code doing the Markdown here is the same code from PlayBASIC.com. I just dragged it across and threw it in here and thought, let's just try this thing out and see if we can get it to work. The styling, that's part of the CSS. So that's unrelated to that. We can have different styling, but the back-end phrasing is the same regardless. That's the whole point of having these separate layers, right? Anyway, so I couldn't get that to work, and this has started working recently, which is, well, a miracle, pretty much. One thing that you will notice too is when you have code inside a Markdown area, which is what all this whole article here is being phrased as, it just gives us the small snippet highlight. You don't get the large scrolling window. We probably should have that style adjusted, so if you do want to insert a larger block, it can actually have the auto scroll type stuff and those behaviors like the larger one here. That's our regular one that you would have seen the same syntax highlight code used across the forums, used across here everywhere. So we've finally got it in a format where we can kind of cut and paste between all the bits and pieces without doing conversions, and yeah, it's insanity at some point. These articles do have pictures attached to them, but they're not renderable in this version of it. Just something I've got to tack in later. So navigation stuff's through the bottom. You can move across the page if you want to have a link to a particular article. It's in the title, so you've got the title up here, all that good stuff. These are mostly old articles too, and they're things that I do for my own sort of personal enjoyment. Like most people who know me realise that I'm not just a coder, I'm a drummer and a teacher, and I've been a teacher for a long time. There's a lot of similarities between teaching drumming and teaching software development. A lot. Jeez, they're really old clips, they are. I think that's a remaster of something from like 2012, yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, so what I wanted this to do, the other thing I was struggling with is this little feature, is that this is mobile friendly. Now, none of the other sites are actually mobile friendly, they're not. There's a bit of an issue here and there. What I mean is that some pages have a few issues with them pushing too wide, but not by much, not by a huge lot. Well, there's one actually. That's pushing out the layout a bit. It's archive bubble sorting. It's a very old one. So that's actually something that I'm really wanting to implement into Underwear Design and PlayBASIC. I don't think we can get there with the first revision of that. The underlying layer generates the HTML and the CSS and a bunch of the site's JavaScript. So if we can just change the CSS, the styling attributes to the HTML, we can make the site do things like be mobile friendly. We're kind of stuck at the moment, but you know, that's the ultimate goal of all of this stuff. It really is to make all of this stuff easier to maintain, to use, especially. I have a real problem with a lot of modern web development in general. Things being too complicated or not as easy as what they could be. So if I can get away with one-click menu, that's what I'm going to use. It might be daggy, but that's what I'm going to use. Anyway, so I added some tools here. There's a bit of an expression to see how we could do some of this. Some of them are PB related, like there's a library generator down the bottom here. What this does, let's say you've got like a player or something like that. You can make some boilerplate code, which you can then cut and paste into your application. And this is like a library. It automatically creates functions for you for, in this case I've called my object type player. So it customized this to be new player, delete player, find player, count, player status, get free player. We end up with a set of functions that create your API in your generalized code. So you would add your attributes in here, of course, and then when the things created initially, fill them out in those things there. But the whole point of this is to eliminate some boilerplate. Open a page, quickly generate a thing, paste it in, off to the races. Same applies for the, I'll just grab that code actually. Although it's already laid out correctly. Go back to tools and there's a formatter. This is a bit problematic. It's very quickly written, but it'll indent code and capitalize not all the keywords, but some of the basic keywords of BASIC. So you can get a quick and an easy sort of freshen up of your code. Now, I wouldn't trust it too much. It's just really a muck around. At this point, it's a muck around. These are the kinds of things that I've been talking about wanting to build into PlayBASIC. You know, things like there's a hex converter in there as well, and there's some other things there I wrote years ago as a test for this sort of this web engine, pretty much. the back end of this is just a suite of software that lets you have a bunch of base functionality plus a customized theme. So what this whole website actually is just a customized theme on that base code. So the back end hasn't changed at all. It's the same code I wrote 12, 13 years ago. But it proves that the concerns are separate enough where you can just replace one and it still works. It's not pretty. It's not the best thing in the world. I get that, right? But it gives me an opportunity to have a place where I can just post articles that are related to, maybe they're just programming related. They're not specifically PlayBASIC related. Maybe they're generalized a bit more, or about drumming stuff or music or whatever it happens to be. So I've actually gone through and made some articles out of recent posts. In this case here, looking at the Wolf 3D stuff. But yeah, this is the generalized site. I'm actually pretty happy with it. Like, it's come up better than I thought for pretty much. Oh well, I mean, the reskin probably took a couple of days. I ran into some bugs in the back end which were hard to track because I haven't looked at this back end for a long time. Up here we've got like a login and sign in, but the sign up I'll just get rid of that. There's no point having users in this website. It's just an informational website only. But that's what I've been doing, and that's the code from here will get migrated back into PlayBASIC, and that will fix the dramas with that. And the solution for doing this nesting with our code blocks, wherever this has gone actually, is one of the main takeaways from this. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, how that's come out. Yeah. Sort of clean to the point. People will complain about, it's white and whatever. Look, people will complain, it's a white background or whatever. It's dark text on a white background. But, I'm not going to go to the trouble of making a night and day cycle for the whole thing, making a dark and light version. In theory, with this one, you could do that because the style is completely separate. With other ones like PB especially, the footprint of that these days is much larger than what most people think. Because you've got the part you see, which is the very sort of rudimentary sections, and then you've got sections now that relate to even just things like managing updates. For anything that you can view on the website these days, you have to have something where I can add that thing to the website and edit it and update it and remove it, whatever. If you have users, you've got to have features where you can add users, delete them, ban them, whatever. There's all of this secondary stuff that no one ever thinks about. In many ways, I never really thought much about it either, actually. Originally, we were going to move to this content management system. We looked at a couple of them a long time ago, and they just felt like using a nuclear bomb to kill a fly. They were the main one we looked at was more suited to doing things like a shopping centre, like Kmart or one of those things, or it was really heavily about product, huge amounts of products. And for us, we're more about, there's only a couple of products that will be on the website and maybe a few other ones eventually. But it's more about information and trying to get that information to be cross-referenced and as easy to find as possible. And one of the benefits of the new site, in PlayBASIC world especially, is the local searching. Like that that just means you can go log in, go somewhere, do a search, actually find something that you were looking for, rather than sort of go, oh, I'll look in the forum because I don't know where this thing's going to be on the main site. In the future, I'll pretty much be only posting on the website and posting much less on the forums. Because no one uses the forums. It's just a, you know, I don't know how many times you sort of hear this kind of commentary from people. I mean, even, you know, there's an article here about the Game Creators Forum closing down, and for good reason. I mean, people just don't use them. And in 25 years, the people who grew up, that's what, 2 generations of people. It's a long stretch between, it's a long way between users though, isn't it? Like, heaps of those people would have no exposure. You know, the tweens of this age, and probably the young, most people in their early 20s, let's say, would have had little interaction with a forum. It would all be through social media. And getting, you know, that's great, but getting anywhere on social media and having the kind of stuff that you need to have in support of that thing, like, I can't go into that, but is really difficult. I would say pretty much impossible, to be honest. Anyway, I mean, forums are difficult, and we want to build the thing around the website mostly and encourage people to write more, share more, produce more within that environment, so we can broaden the base a lot, and that broadening of the base will help more and more people get from a concept, I want to learn to code a bit, I want to learn to make a game or something, or do some other stuff with coding, all the way through to, hey, I can do this thing. I've learnt the skills I need to do whatever the thing is I wanted to learn. But anyway, that's PlayBASIC concerns. The topics is really just a cross section of the weird things that are on my YouTube channel, which is like coding stuff and drawing stuff and dog videos, and you know, that kind of weird mismatch. You know, that I never intended to have an audience. I just made them because I was like, you know, my dog was having fun or something, or I'm just playing a clip here. I've got a separate drumming channel these days, and that does actually much better than all the other channels combined. So it's hilarious, isn't it? It's the least amount of effort you put into something does the best. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.